Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's your girl, lovely Lacey Lay. I am back with another discussion. I think that I'm going to start like a dating podcast or something like that because I'm having a lot of I'm not getting a lot of feedback or a lot of participation from men for my blind date show. I really hope that I can get some men, but they're mostly shy. They want to remain anonymous, or it's a lot of there's not a lot of men that are looking to date these days. So it's really really hard getting a few good men to participate on the show. But I do have a lot of women that are ready to go with it. So hopefully by my goal date, I will have more participation of men. Until then, I'll just post some thoughts and opinions about dating and things like that. But today I want to do a story time about a dating incident. Well, not incident, but more like a horror story, if you will. And this happened a long time ago, and I can see some of the reasons why people are very very skeptical when it comes to dating and love and things like that. So I went to school with this guy. I think he's a little bit older than me. I don't know how we eventually exchanged numbers, but this was during the time when people still used their house phones. Because we did talk on the phone a couple of times before going on a date via house phone. And I do remember speaking to this gentleman's mother. I remember a conversation about who my people was and vice versa, and I ended up knowing of them, and they knew some of my people. So it wasn't like anything that was stranger vibes or anything like that. Those were during the times where dating was, if you were going to date, that's the way I would want to do it today. Talking on the house phone and things, getting to know each other, that old school type vibe. So we talked on the phone a couple of times. Again, I don't know how we exchanged numbers or what happened. But he was a very nice looking young man, tall, dark, handsome. He played sports in Lawrence, and he was a catch back then. I thought that I had or could have had something with a nice looking guy, and that really I felt like at that time had a lot going for him, and had goals, and he was very ambitious as I remember. And he was just a nice guy. So and I didn't think that he would do what happened, even if you knew him, unless you know something about him that I didn't at that time. I didn't think that he would be that type of guy. Let me just put it that way. So we talked on the phone a couple of times, and we went on a date, and it was a nice date because it's something that I've always liked to do, simple things. I like simple things when it comes to dating. I know a lot of people, they like to go to these high-end restaurants and things like that. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're attempting to date me, I am not a materialistic young lady, and yes, I said young lady. I don't like a lot of flashy things. I don't like fancy, uppity restaurants. A lot I get asked on dates, and they think that I want to go to this fancy restaurant. I would rather someone cook for me than to go to a fancy restaurant, because the restaurant feel and everything, it just takes away from getting to know that person. So I'm just not that type of girl. I eat steak, but I would like it better if you cook the steak for me, type of girl. So, but that's neither here nor there. So we went to the park. I forgot the name of that park in Lawrence. It's a park that everyone go to. I think they was in the middle of fixing it up at that time, because they did have like a trail type situation there. And that's what we did. We met up at the park. We walked the trail. I mean, we had good conversation. I just remember having good conversation with him. He was telling me all some of the things that he was trying to do, and and I was telling him some things that I was trying to do, and we was just talking about things that we were planning to do in the future. And as I remember, it was some things that that could possibly have led to me and him having a future at that time. So I thought the date went well. I mean, we talked for it was a long time. I don't probably a couple of hours maybe. It was really really nice. I mean, I really really enjoyed it. He was a gentleman. I He gave me no impression um that he was that not he didn't give me an impression that he was after something, to gain something like sexual or something like that during the day. I just genuinely had the feeling that he was a genuinely good person. Not saying that he's not a good person, because good people, we do things sometimes that doesn't take away from you genuinely being a good person. I mean, he was very respectful. So after our date, I don't remember if we hugged or a simple peck, but he got in his car and I got in mine. Well, I think we were sitting in my car. He got in his car. He left out of the park before I did, and I left out right behind him. And where I'm going to my destination. My mom had my kids at that time, so I was headed to my mom's to pick up my kids. And if you know where my mom have stayed at over the years, if I tell you where she stayed at that time, you probably wouldn't know who the guy is. So I'm not going to disclose that. If you know, you know. So I'm headed to my mom's, and I noticed that he's going in the same direction. And if you know where my mom stayed, there's not many places you can go if you're not going in that direction. So when he turned down the same road as my mother, I'm thinking, "Oh, okay, where's he going?" So I'm thinking that he knows someone there or is related to someone there. So I didn't think too much of it. The place that he went, I do remember it was 2 or 3 houses down from where my mom stayed. And I got to my mom's house and I just sat there for a minute just to see where he was going, you know how we are. And he just got out of the car and went in the house. So I figured that it was someone that he's related to. So I didn't think anything else of it. I went and got my kids. I sat over my mom's for a few minutes, and I left back out. And I think the next day, I called them, and we didn't talk. I don't remember him. We didn't talk for a couple of days after that. And now knowing is the verb that we use, ghosted, I think he ghosted me. I think he thought that I knew where he was going because I was there, and I don't know what it was. Eventually I did talk to him about the situation, and I think he kind of told on himself. So come to find out, he was I don't can't remember if he was engaged to this young lady, or but I definitely know they were together because they had kids together. And I used to see this young lady's kids playing out in the yard, when I would visit my mom. And I didn't it didn't click at that time, if that was the house, because when we got back from our date, it was dark. So I really couldn't see or confirm that it was the young lady's home. But I definitely knew, I thought that someone he was related to stayed there. Um, I did end up seeing him probably like some time after that, probably a couple of weeks with the young lady. And y'all, when I saw him, you could have bought him for a penny. And it was awkward, but I chuckled a bit. I think he may have told the young lady what happened, because you can just tell as a woman, because like I said, she stayed in the area with my mom, and I think we did speak, and I think my mom knew her mom. So it was just that type of vibe when I saw them. So I think that he may have told her about our date, but I wished I'd known if he did tell her, what did he tell her, because he was totally in the wrong. I felt like I was led on. I did not He never disclosed that he had a family. Had he done that, I would have probably wouldn't have worried about it, but he never disclosed that with me. And then I do remember that the conversations that we were having, I was thinking that I was having a future with this guy. I mean, that he back then, to me, unless somebody else knows something else about him, he was a really good catch. So I thought that it was going to be something more than that, but it didn't work out. I think some years later, I don't know if I saw him again, because I'm not in Lawrence now, and I don't even know if they're in Lawrence. But I do remember seeing him some time before, and he just all would always put his head down. So, that's just one of the stories that I have and wanted to share about dating, and the fears I can understand, even men, mainly about dating. Um, it's just so scary, and you just never know. I mean, why would he try to date someone else or whatever we were doing? Even if we ended up not dating, I don't think his lady would have appreciated the fact that he went to that level with me, because we were talking about some serious life things, as I remember. Because, like I said, I thought that he was a good catch, tall, handsome guy, and had a good head on his shoulders. I didn't, looking at him, wouldn't think that he would have done something like that, and it makes me wonder, how many other times have he done it to her, so yeah, I want to share that. So I just want to know what your thoughts are on that. Did that happen to you? What happened after you found out? If something like that happened to you, did you continue to pursue it, or did you confront him? Did you tell the lady? What are your thoughts on that? So I wanted to share that with you. I'll see you next time.